Hey, it's Miles. Just going to show you a cool game with this CIFA Rush I've been playing. It's got MCA Austerity Policy and Brian Stinson. So what the idea is, and a bunch of people are doing this, I'm not going to say it's incredibly innovative or anything, but what you do is you have MCA, Mind of Fairchild 3, they run it, and either have to pay a bajillion credits, or they get just blown out entirely, and then you hit them with the Brian Stinson and score, like, draw cards, and it's really, really great. This version has 2 elective upgrades, which is very, very risky because it's a real 5-3, but when you score it, it is just the best thing. And also you have Jeeves, because Jeeves plus UVC is also the best thing. This deck is really cool. It's super fast advancey. It's got Shipment from Town. Really, really like it. Yeah, give it a try. It's a lot of fun. Probably the best. I'm not sure about this. This is the best defense. And this CVS, which is just anti-clot stuff, which is like, meh. And this vanilla I kind of hate too. The wraparound's good though. I've been switching it out with IP block, because IP block is also really good, but sometimes it's great to just have like a big end the run that's just strength 7, and that is surprisingly hard for people to deal with right now. Fairchild 2 is a really nice taxing ice. Miraju is theoretically our Jackson replacement, but Turtle kind of messes it up a bit. Architect's a really good card. Fairchild 3 is a really good card. Yeah, check out the game. It's real fun. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we're looking at CI versus Gabe Santiago here. Obviously, that opening hand was pretty garbo. We mulligan into like a pretty good hand. So we've got a vanilla to stop early aggression. We've got Jeeves just to maybe make him ways to click on. And we have an agenda which is less good. So this is like acceptable. What we are going to do here is get run on, which is fine, because we expect him to be like pretty aggressive. And he is pretty aggressive in this game pretty consistently. It's a really good example. He's got the Sneak Door in his opening hand, gets in there a couple of times, and manages to not whiff completely both times, which is great for us. We draw into roughly 400 agendas, which is kind of rough. So we have, what's that? So 10 points in hand on turn 2, which is obviously not where you want to be in the slightest. But Fairchild 2 is at least a nice piece of taxing ice. It's not going to end any runs, but like it does a good job. This turn we get to have a much better turn because we get to res Jeeves, and we get to smash out that ultraviolet clearance, which is awesome because we had a free click. We continue to draw ice and continue to draw many agendas, unfortunately. Looks like we're going to have a hard time getting our opponent below 6 credits this turn so that we can use Stinson, so we sort of just start crediting up, because we do expect he's going to sort of, I mean, obviously we can't siphon anymore, but we need money to be able to res our giant Fairchilds that we've just been throwing down everywhere. So the game plan is going to be get down a Fairchild 3, get down an MCA, start clicking it, and start winning in fast advance, because criminals, you know, they have a hard time doing it. He's got that Satcon down to probably help him with a Tapworm, something like that. That's fine. That's not a huge deal right now. And he's probably going to start making a lot of money. So he's got a pretty strong opening hand. It's like a traditional good crim opener, I guess. We take advantage of Jeeves to install a bunch of stuff, gain a click, and start pumping up our MCA Austerity Policy, a wonderful thing. By the way, if you're wondering why my face is there and saying things but you can't hear it, it's because the audio went really funny on these recordings, so I'm having to sort of narrate over them a bit later. Again, we just want to be clicking our Jeeves. We can't really take too much advantage of Jeeves right now, unfortunately, other than like drawing a few times. Gaining credits a few times is like vaguely acceptable. It's really unlikely we're going to get in below 6 credits, unfortunately. So we ice up, prevent from security testing, just to make his money a bit harder. I really dislike doing that kind of ice layout, protecting any more remotes than are absolutely necessary, but you do what you got to do, because we have to defend quite a lot of vectors of attack here. He's doing the aggressive crim thing really, really well, and yeah, well, we have to do it. Now he's security testing here. There's a Vitruvius on top, which sucks, and there's nothing really good to install, so we're going to take advantage of our free install to get a install on server 2 and protecting against inside job. And we got nothing to install from hand because we just have like, what's that now? 14 points in hand? Which is pretty scary. 14 points in the top, like, not even half of our deck is obviously, it's not what you want to see. And this turn is just going to be clicking for credits, taking advantage of Jeeves, and clicking up our MCA austerity policy to force the runner to do something about it. So right now we're kind of just like, hey, can we win? Is there anything we can do about it? What's our path to victory? He clicks through it, that's great, takes a brain damage. Beautiful. Oh no, sorry, trashes the SATCON, even better. He's going to come on through and hit nothing because he's sec testing and just making a squillion credits. Good on him. All we're going to do, keep clicking for credits because that's what we got to do. That's what we've got to do. And we can at least draw with Violet level here. And DitJ, something that's not going to do anything. CBS, whatever. What's that going to do? Not a dang thing. And there's an IPO in my hand, and I could go for the score here, try and get that elective upgrade out, but the problem is, if I do that, I go down to 7 credits. I have to discard a lot of cards, and then my hand ends up just being entirely agendas, and we just straight up lose. So my opponent thinks for a while because I'm putting in an awkward situation as much as I possibly can, just trading clicks for clicks, because my clicks are gonna, explode later on, and we're gonna score something humongous. We really need this MCA to survive. That's our key. That's our absolute key thing. So what I want to do is get that IPO live before I do anything else. It's very, very, very important. Chooses not to challenge this turn. So again, this is really nasty because it's one of the very few opportunities we're ever going to have to use our shipment from Tenon. So it's actually great. It sort of worked out. Yeah, it didn't quite work out. We probably could have done it, actually. Maybe I should have. Store, shipment, advance. Triple advance. Yeah, so I still would have been too poor. That's the main problem. We really needed that IPO. Really, it would have been great to get that. Actually, come to think of it, I think I would have just been able to do it, but it might have been a bit gross and awkward, and I really needed to hold these cards in hand just because of the massive amounts of agenda flood. So maybe that's why. We let him make some money here. Doesn't matter. Could be a slight misplay. Might be worth thinking about in future. He's got his Ankusa. Very scary. Pops that back in hand and just calmly, as you like, is going to pull an elective upgrades out of hand. That stings. That stings real bad. And that means we need to ice up HQ so quickly. So what are we going to do here? We can't just sit here and take 4 HQ accesses because we will absolutely lose the game. So let's throw a bunch of stuff down. Oh, and of course, because Jeeves is the best, we still managed to ice HQ. How good's that? Because we've had Jeeves live this whole game, giving us 4-click turns. Turns out 4-click turns are pretty good. So now our game plan is simple. We win as fast as humanly goddamn possible with the aid of our awesome, awesome, awesome elective upgrade counters. We got a Vitruvius in hand. That helps us win real good. We got a bunch of other stuff. None of it really matters. All that we need to do is play Biotic and... not even Biotic, because we've got Jeeves live. All we need to do is get that dang thing out. He has the Peregrine already. Opponent's had a pretty strong draw this turn. He's gotten all the... I mean, he hasn't drawn that many cards, and he's got, his Barrier Breaker and his Kogate Breaker and a Data Sucker and all this really, really great stuff. And his accesses are off the bloody chain as well. So we decide we need to go for it. Score the corporate sales team just because it's an agenda that makes us money. And Jeeves will let us do it for free. And by for free, I mean Jeeves will let us do it full stop. So now we're in a position where we can absolutely win next turn. It's really, really good, and he needs to win because we have 3 agendas in hand that we can score anyway. basically it's 3 agendas. This is like the end of the game kind of thing. So he res this because it doesn't actually matter. The only way it matters is if he goes and trashes the Jeeves, which of course is crap, but we can sort of get away with it because he needs. It doesn't matter if he steals a Vitruvius, the game's over anyway. So there's no chance we're ever going to need to biotic out a 4-2 because we will have already lost. So it's fine. Gonna D-Rose the Fairchild. Yeah, real bummer. And he hits the vanilla. Fantastic. Hits the Stinson. Chooses not to trash, as you do. And now he's deciding. He's basically asking himself, do we have it? Do we have it in hand? He installs Peregrine again. Goes to check archives. He thinks I've been sneaking things into archives, but I haven't. No one's sneaking things into archives. There's just a CVS in there and a vanilla. You crazy? Goes to the D-Rose. So we get a vital extra click where he could have got a HQ access. For his last click, he plays a sure gamble, and oh my god, we did it. What a game. Awesome. So this deck's really fun because scoring elective upgrades is just like so fun. You get to get such satisfying wins. Yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoyed that game. Alright, we're back. We're playing CI against Alice. Now, we have a slightly marginal opening hand, but given that it's got MCA and a UVC, I'm going to keep it. Slap an ice down on HQ. Oh, cool. We drew an Archives ice. That's really good because obviously they're going to run into Archives because they're Alice. Why wouldn't they? We ice our 2 servers. We credit up. We're not going to res anything in this turn. We just want to play a clearance. Unfortunately, our opponent has a pretty godlike opening hand with Omakwa, Gamble, and the Magnum Opus follow-up, which is kind of insane. But we drew Stinson. And if he does anything other than take 8 next turn, we might get to blow his face off. We also have drawn into an ice to protect our Fairchild, an ice to protect our MCA. So hopefully we can just go absolutely ham here. Our opponent does not respect us. He goes for the 1 access instead. And we get to fire our Stinson, which is the greatest thing that you can do in a game of Netrunner. UVC blasts out. We make an absolute ton of money instantly. We got our Fairchild. We're going to put it on R&D because we just want to be safe. And oh my god, we get to play Violet level 2. So gain 13 that turn and drew 8 cards and installed 1. Installed 2 actually. Very, very good turn indeed. We want to draw an ice for our MCA Austerity if possible, but you know, at least we can do this. Even getting like an Architect down would be pretty good here. We got a few options, but we do want to protect that MCA as aggressively as we possibly can. I'm just going to double ice HQ there. Got an extra click. Hedge fund up. Staying in the money. Seems good. Should have played the IPO. That's a straight up misplay. Hopefully it doesn't make us lose the game. Possible foreshadowing? I don't know. Still in a pretty good spot though. This is a huge, huge, huge amount of money. Plays the more, being a real smart ass here. Manages to trash an agenda out of HQ by being a smart ass. Good on that guy. It does annoy us because now we have to ice up our Jeeves, of course. And we purge out his Omakwa because Jeeves lets us do that. He does get through this Fairchild relatively cleanly. Takes a brain damage, not bad. And he gets the agenda because he got a very, very lucky Moor snipe. Very, very lucky indeed. We have to defend, drop something out of HQ. Because I have 3 MCA Austerities, we go, alright, we probably don't need 3 MCAs. And dump on him. Not sure if that was the right call, to be honest. It could be much, much, much better. Again, we're still pretty low on ice to defend our MCA, but now we have Fairchild. We can do something about that. And we can just ice it up right away. So hopefully this can get us into game-winning territory. Opponent just opes us up. So here's where the game plan comes in. We got Stinson down. We can Arclight lock down that, I guess, but the idea is we drag him through this disgusting Fairchild 3, and it just forces him to, yeah, spend all his money, basically. It would have been nice to get a Black Orchestra out, but what are you going to do? Probably shouldn't have played the Arc Lockdown. We just did it because it was there. Probably wasn't strictly necessary. Our opponent gets a Frantic Coding out. Whoa, pretty exciting. Use it to install a Black Orchestra, reducing its cost. Pretty good. So now you can get through our Fairchild, but it's not cheap. It is extraordinarily cheap. We're always going to click our thing here, our MCA Austerity Fun Time Policy. It's very, very good. And all we're going to do is shipment from 10 and out this wonderful little Project Vitruvius because our opponent was kind enough not to run. So that was a pretty good turn. And we can do that because we're so bloody rich that we just get to do whatever we like. We could have obviously just scored the Vitruvius, but it's much more fun to also click MCA and put the runner on a massive, massive squeeze. Spoons the archives because I guess that's really important to do. And I discard Wraparound because I saw a paperclip in the bin. Retrospect, probably a bad call. Should have put it on the MCA server to force a paperclip. Should have been the Mirage that I dropped there. That was definitely a mistake. Even the best defense would have been better. So yeah, not the best play on my part, for sure. For sure. That's why it's good to go over these games again. So our opponent just, yeah, so we get rid of the Mirage now, and our opponent's just like, no, we're going to smash no archives, and it's going to be sweet. We're going to get our Makwa counters. That's cool. No elective upgrades, but we can at the very least score out an efficiency committee if the opportunity sort of comes up, if we decide to. It's going to be time, yeah, it's going to be efficiency committee time. It's a really good thing to have. It's about this time that I wish I had Clones Are Not People, because it's possible that I could have scored just a stupid amount of points that turn and it would have been awesome. But it was not to be. And all we're going to do is use our newly acquired efficiency committee to get a second MCA going. Ooh, that's a wonderful thing. It's possible to do 2 of those in one turn as well, so the opponent only has 2 clicks, and that is just a wonderful thing to do. Opponent hits a Fairchild 3 here, and we're really hoping that this blows him into Stinson Town. And might do. Moors out a Biotic Label, which is a huge deal for us, unfortunately. So we just have to draw like a madman and try and score. Basically, we've got our elective upgrades, which obviously wins us the game, should we manage to trigger it. But, I mean, if we had the Biotic Label, we'd be able to do it next turn. Oh no! But hey, it's Fairchild time. We love doing this. Hit him with the Fairchild on the last click. Nasty, nasty, nasty stuff. Chooses to trash Black Orchestra from their rig. And just manages to blast out the MCA. But now, of course, we get to trigger Stinson, and we are very happy boys indeed. We have a slight problem, however, in that we don't actually have anywhere to score from. And it's about now that I'm really regretting discarding that Wraparound. Because if I had, then I would be able to actually score behind it, because he'd have to get a paperclip out, and he's going to really struggle to do that. So that was really a big mistake on my part, and I need to remember that in future, even if they have theoretically what paperclip access, or I do literally have paperclip access, sometimes you still just need to jam behind a Wraparound because they're going to be terrified of Stinson. Thinking real long and hard here about whether I can afford to install Advance behind the Fairchild 3. But unfortunately, he can just go and click through, and I will just be in an awful position should he choose to do that. We're going to have to do some weird, wild stuff to win this game, and that's what I like. So, we jam Efficiency Committee into Server 2 instead of the elective upgrades to see if he's going to bite, basically. advance it, and stick an architect up there. And finally, we managed to play an IPO at the end of our turn, just to make sure we have a squillion credits to support this thing with. Because it is nice to have a squillion credits. Getting very, very thin in our RMD. Only 7 cards left. We might need to do some crazy plays this game to pull it out. Who knows? Opponent madly clicks Magnum Opus, decides he doesn't want to contest this, and he would rather slam his face into archives over and over again. We get rid of our Jeeves because he clearly has no interest in dealing with it, and we try and figure out if we can win. We get an FCOM out. And again, I go deep into the tank here trying to figure out how I can win the game. But without Biotic Labor, it's really a struggle, unfortunately. We do get to do a really neat little trick here, which is Ice Archives and Purge thanks to Efficiency Committee. That's really cool. I really like doing that. Because now he has to click for a random access on R&D, and that just sucks. Except that he managed to moor a 3-pointer into the bin. Well, what are you going to do? It's around this time we have to just figure out how in the heck we're going to score that Vitruvius. We need our Biotic, and we need it now. And it's time to just draw. It's time to draw. Because we can draw 4 cards this turn, which will put us with 1 card left in R&D for our mandatory draw. And that might be the only way we can do it. The Biotic is the last card, or the second last card. Okay, so second last card. There's only 1 card left in the deck. We know that it's not an agenda. We know that Bagat would blow us out of the water, although he probably couldn't get into HQ. And now it's all about whether Moore can trigger and blow us out. So he's going for it. He's going for the glory run on R&D. He needs to, the Seeing Agenda needs to moor the Biotic. He needs to moor exactly the Biotic. What's it going to be? And he hits something that's not Biotic, but it is an agenda. But luckily we got away with it. If he managed to get into archives, we would have done it, but we still did it. So really cool game. Really enjoyed playing that one. Thanks for watching. This deck's really fun, and maybe give it a go. It's really fun.